AMD Developer Inside Track is here at the Xen Summit in Sunnyvale, and we're talking with Tom Woller, Principal MTS Engineer with AMD Software Futures. Tom, can you tell us what is it about virtualization that you find so exciting?
Well, virtualization is a very innovative field, and it's an environment which you don't really know what's going to happen next. So each engineer can be part of this innovative future with their own ideas, with their collaborative efforts with other engineers, and it makes it a lot of fun.
And why is the work that AMD is doing with Xen so important?
Well, virtualization is a collaborative software and hardware endeavor. So working with Xen, being an open source community, allows us to help implement some of the hardware features. For example, AMD is developing next generation AMD, and we're providing this hardware to help specifically with virtualization features. But we're also working with the software developers to make sure we have a combined software-hardware solution, and this solution will be more performant and more efficient than you'd have with just individual software or hardware efforts.
Great, thanks Tom. We look forward to a second day of the Xen Summit tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
We're here with Ian and Rodney. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves, starting with Ian?
Hi, I'm Ian Pratt. I'm chairman of Xen.org and vice president for advanced products at Citrix.
I'm Rodney Schmidt. I'm part of the AMD Software Group focusing on virtualization architecture.
Great, so I had a few questions that I think maybe our developer audience would be interested in. One of them is, what is Xen and how did it get started?
So Xen is a virtual machine monitor or hypervisor, and it started as a project in the University of Cambridge Computer Laboratory in about 2001, and we released it as open source software under the GPL first in 2002. And since then, a large development community has grown up around Xen, and we're here today at the Xen Summit hosted by AMD, which we have these Xen Summits twice a year, getting the developers who are working on Xen together. We have one in the US and one in Asia, and we're spending these 2 days really talking about the future of Xen, the new features we're trying to get in, and the general direction the project's heading.
Great, thanks. So we're here at AMD's campus, as you mentioned. So what is AMD's involvement in this, and what are we going to be doing about this moving forward?
Well, we've been involved in the Xen development for quite a few years now, but at least 5 years or more. And we've got several people in our operating system research center dedicated to contributing and developing Xen. Internally, we find it a valuable tool for both performance testing and virtualization features, and testing out new ideas and proof of concepts. But externally, it's certainly a big part of our focus in the products and where we're going for the future.
Yeah, with Xen, we do a lot of work to make sure that Xen has excellent performance on all kinds of hardware. That we make sure that we can run all of the different operating systems with great performance alongside each other on the hypervisor, and ensure that we can get really good security to make sure that if Xen is being used to host virtual machines belonging to different customers, that they can actually have that assurance that their data is going to be kept separate. And that's probably one of the reasons why Xen is used by so many of the big cloud providers, the folks like Amazon, and also obviously used by many enterprises these days to host their workloads.
Excellent. So I hear there's some server plans in the future for us, focusing on virtualization features. Can you talk about any of those?
I can talk about a couple. So right now we're releasing some new server products early this year. Our Magnet Core products just went out recently. We've got some other things in the pipe to focus both on kind of a high performance data center where consolidation is kind of important from a virtualization point of view, and also kind of the more value-oriented cloud providers. So we're taking a two-track approach to supporting virtualization in both those spaces. We're also going to continue to push and develop a technology for I/O virtualization. Tom Woller here gave a really good presentation on our new I/O interview V2 technology yesterday, and we're going to continue to develop that. And then lastly, we've got some new virtualization features coming out in future products, so we continue to drive and work with the Xen community to figure out what makes sense in terms of hardware acceleration. We're going to continue to develop that, and I'll keep you posted as I can on those future things.
Yeah. Xen always tries to be first and best to support any new hardware feature that appears, whether it's in the CPU or the chipset or the I/O devices, to really make sure that we can make best use of that feature to really improve the performance of Xen. And as a result, I think from all of the independent studies, we typically come out on top as the best performing hypervisor. That's something we're very proud of, and it happens as a result of the close relationship we have with companies like AMD, and the fact that AMD has engineers working on Xen, contributing the code to make best use of the features that appear in their hardware.
We have this population of AMD-focused software developers. How would they get involved with this project to contribute?
Well, I guess the first thing is if you need a virtualization solution, then use Xen. So get involved as a user. You can go to Xen.org and download Xen, or there are many different products which have Xen built into them, such as Oracle VM, Novell's SUSE Linux, or Citrix Xen Server are all built using Xen. There are other products around too. If you actually want to get involved as a developer, then again, go to Xen.org and join some of the mailing lists and download the code and start playing with it and start sending your patches to XenDevel, the mailing list.
All right, great. I'm going to throw one more question at each of you, which is, what do you think is the most exciting thing coming up in the next few years for virtualization and for Xen?
So, I go first. Yes. So, Xen started off on servers and has had this big impact on the cloud. But I think one of the most exciting areas is virtualization, moving from servers down to smaller devices, things like desktops and laptops. We've been doing a lot of work within the Xen community on that. And the whole use case for virtualization is very different when you're looking at things like desktops and laptops. No one really cares about consolidating lots of different virtual machines onto a laptop. That's not the use case. But where virtualization can really help on something like a laptop is improving the security, manageability, supportability of users using a laptop, just making the hardware more trustworthy. And that's going to be a big focus, I think, for the Xen community. It has been for the last few years, and now there are going to be lots of products are arriving in the next few months, really, that are actually bringing virtualization to desktops and laptops. And I certainly believe that in a few years' time, virtualization really will be ubiquitous. It'll be on every server, being used for every kind of workload, because the overhead of virtualization just gets smaller every year as we get more help from the hardware. And it's going to be just pervasive. Every server, every desktop, every laptop, and then even in a few years' time, it'll start appearing on smartphones. We were hearing that earlier today in the talk by Samsung.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the client virtualization stuff is definitely finally the point where the technology and the performance is there to make it a reality. And there's lots of use cases. Ian just mentioned a couple of them. I also think that in the cloud space, that's ripe for just virtualization taking over and really exploding into something fantastic. And there's been quite a few presentations here on the Xen Cloud platform also that are pretty exciting. So I think there's a lot of energy and excitement there, and I think there's a lot of market demand for that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, you guys, and I'm very excited to see how virtualization, trickles down to smartphones and and how it revolutionizes our future on these kind of devices. So, thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.